The Great Evil Dungeons, or to be exact, the 7 Great Evil Dungeons. 7 dungeons mankind agreed were unconquerable. Even among the notorious 7 Great Evil Dungeons, in the worst of all demonic realms, the Primordial Core. Dozens of creatures guarded the dungeon and the gatekeepers of the 3 crossroads waited. The homunculus guarding the red crossroad on the left is named Rene, and the skeleton guarding the blue crossroad in the center is named Pedrick. Not much information was known about the filth-tainted path to the right. And the ruler of this unconquerable fortress was the primordial monster from the first chapter of the Empire's mythology, the Devourer. Then we see a girl saying, "That is what it says in here. As you said, after the book spread among the humans there have definitely been more intrusions." We see a monster saying, "You gotta have the know-how to manage a dungeon too, wrap it up in a bit of mysticism and the humans do not even notice. You have to leak some information like this, so they make the mistake of thinking, we know everything about that dungeon. So when they see books like these half filled with fantasy, they are all over them like moths to a flame. Even so, I honestly did not expect them to come flocking here, as we see the ground filled with corpses. Then we see the beast transforming into a human, patting the girl as she blushes. We see someone glaring in the background as we see a skeleton saying, "Hey, are you sure we are here for a meeting? We are not just hanging out for fun, are we? So why are the 2 of you the only ones so happy? The vibes here are so sweet I think just breathing could give me cavities, but I do not think it will rot just my teeth, my head might rot too. Also, boss, if you are going to polymorph, you might as well do it properly. Right now I caught a glimpse of you patting her head, and you had 6 fingers, well it is still better than last time when he had over 40 teeth and smiled broadly saying his transformation went great, it sent a chill down my spine." Then we see the girl saying, "I will cut to the chase then, as you know humans have finally begun invading the right crosspath. The problem is that in the process 116 black tentacles who were guarding the right crossroad suffered a major injury. His condition seemed pretty critical, and the boy says, well do not worry too much, the regenerative powers of the tentacles are beyond your imagination. Let us see what happens and if it really does not work out, get a new gatekeeper." The skeleton gets happy and says, "Oh boss, then when you are hiring do me a favor and hire 2 of them, so I can quit too." And the boy replies, "What are you talking about? Your contract lasts for life. Anyway, humans are only coming for my right crossroad. They might already be organizing a new raid force. Humans these days actively use communication magic like telepathy, so the news about the crack in the rightward filth crossroad might already have spread." The boy slaps the table and says, "Well in that case, we will have to plan accordingly as well, you to listen carefully, we are going to switch positions, first you," pointing at the girl, he says, "you have been guarding the red cross path on the left, from today onwards you will take care of the filth crossroad on the right, the raid force will swarm and thinking it is empty, you should just gotta stop them." To the skeleton he says, "You will take the red crossroad on the left, that she usually protects, humans who realize she is on the filth crossroad will head for the red crossroad on the left, where she usually is, then you will be there to stop them. This way we can stop 2 invasions." And skeleton says, "Wait boss, what do you plan to do, if humans head for the blue crossroad in the center?" Everyone goes silent. The boy says, "There is nothing we can do about it, they will have to enjoy a date with me. It is kind of a messy plan." Then we see the girl saying, "The most urgent matter is sort of taken care of. The only remaining item on the agenda is deciding what to do with that sword. I am talking about the one the leader of the raid force was using." As the skeleton finds the sword in the rubble, he says, "That 36th masterpiece. It is a very famous weapon among humans, but it is not exactly a weapon. This sword is number 14, I think its name is Tannabella. One of the blades this girl has right now is also one of the 36 masterpieces." As they think about what should they do with the sword, the skeleton says, "If we give it to those at the entrance humans will snatch it back up from them, and if it falls into their hands again, it will be a headache for us too." Skeleton passes the sword to the boy, but the boy says, "You wield swords too, can you not just use it?" Skeleton gets so happy and says, "I guess, I do not have a choice then, since it is your order boss." This is the Primordial Core home, to a terrifying homunculus maid Renee, who only has the Devourer on her mind. A Death Knight executing deathly energy Pedrick, the only one with a conscience in the dungeon and master at messing with the boss. And a giant ancient monster, Devourer, who is an embodiment of laziness. We see the boy telling the Pedrick, "Now that I have given you the sword, tear the resignation letter you have hidden in your ribs." Then we see Renee asking, "What should we do about the remaining income distribution?" And the boss says, "Let us do it, as we always have, use as much as we can on our end, and use the ones we cannot have as bad to lure the next guys in." Renee replies, "But we do not really have a use for the magic tools. Should we remove the mana stones and sell them? We will gain quite a bit of money from them." Hearing that, he says, "Is that so? Then maybe I will go and visit the human village." Shocking everyone. Pedrick says, "It would be much better if Renee went." The boy gets a little angry and asks for a reason, and Pedrick replies, "You are bad at transforming into a human." As it was true, he agrees to it and says, "Fine then, buy lots of yummy things." Then we see Renee heading out for the village saying, "The weather is quite nice today. I will be back, Mr. Devourer." Then we see inside a jewel shop, as the owner looks at the gems, he says, "Hey kid, unfortunately, I just cannot buy these." Renee asked him why, and what is the reason. He pulls out a B-ranked mana stone and says, "To buy one of these we commoners need to work hard for 10 years, but you see the ones you brought in are all bigger than this. These can only be used by the mages from the royal palace or the high-ranked ones from the mage tower, a jeweler from the capital who has an agreement with the royal family, or the mage tower's wing might be able to deal with it." As Renee hears that, she thinks, "The capital is too far. Do I have to go to the mage tower? I do not want to go there, but if it is for boss." She picks up her jewels and starts to walk out. The owner yells, "Hey kid, you left one," and Renee replies, "That is a tip, thanks for the information, human." Then we see Renee standing outside a huge building, Mage Tower's wing. She is greeted by some people at the entrance saying, "You came to sell mana stones. If so, it would be better for you to meet with the guild master," and they guide Renee to his location. As she follows them, she thinks, so the structure is built in a way that the leader of the Mage Tower is located at the top of the tower. The human's Mage Tower is similar to that of a dungeon. Then we see the guild master saying, "Thank you for coming such a long way. I am Graumitz Ammer, the leader of Wing, this Mage Tower's guild." As Renee looks at the guild master thinking, this human, he possesses a fairly high amount of mana. As she introduces herself as Ren, guild master asks, "I heard a young kid had come, so I was going to ignore you, but according to the guard you had a bunch of mana stones. You must be well aware of the fame of our Mage Tower. I trust you brought high-rank mana stones that match our standard." She pours out the jewel saying, "You can confirm it yourself." Guild masters get surprised and thinks, "These are all A-rank mana stones and some of them are top grade. These are not items that such a young child should own." This kid, who is she? And says, "You, where did you get these stones?" As the guild master looks at Redice's appearance, he thinks that one of the Empire's 8 families hereditary possessed silver hair. Did the daughter of that family run away and bring these in secret? There is no other way such a young child could have so many mana stones. So a noble lady, she must be ignorant of the world. And says, "I was rude. I never even imagined the product would be this good. Here we want to buy all of these mana stones. What about 50 ounces of cold coins per stone? I will give you 80 ounces for the ones that are in particularly good condition." As Renee hears that, she thinks about what the shop owner said about the earnings of common folks. And she says, "Human, if you joke around, you will die." Hearing that, guild master thinks, "Damn it, it seems this lady is more aware than I thought," and says, "To be honest, our guild does not have enough money to buy all of that, even if we gathered all our money." Renee replies with a scary look, "Then buys as much as you can." Then we see a chest full of gold coins, and the guild master says, 2,000 ounces of gold coins. This is all of the money we have. Under the condition of receiving all of the mana stones, what about we give you objects that are worth that much money? Renee tells him, "Are you sure the items are valuable? They need to be easy to sell." He replies, "You do not need to worry about that. Just come this way. I will show you the objects right now." As they start walking, the guild master says, "Normally, we do not bring outsiders into this place, but we will consider you an exception," as they reach the Mage Tower storage. He starts showing her some items saying, "This is the tiara made of 4-carat diamonds. In the center, there are small mana stones, so it is quite useful for mages. This is a living black pearl. It cries out if there is poison near the wearer. This pearl was made using alchemy. As he realizes that Renee does not like these items, he pulls out an item called Scarlet Lovestone. It is a gem that can help you fulfill your love. As she hears that, her mind goes blank, and the only thing she can think about is a gem that can help you fulfill your love. Her eyes start glowing with hope. Guild Master continues, if you infuse mana into this gem in front of the person you like, the spirit inside the gem will help you fulfill eternal love, no matter who it is. He asks if she likes it, and she replies, I want this one. Guild Master says, I do not know about the others, but this gem will be a little difficult. You can even steal the heart of the Emperor, so it is very expensive. Renee pulls out something, making the Guild Master sweat. It is her sword, and she says, with all of the money you gave me earlier, and this sword, give me that gem. We see one of the mages asking the Guild Master, how can he give that gem away? He already knows what kind of object it is. If you send her away like that, she will die. And the Guild Master replies, so what? It is an item that a foolish noble lady wanted and exchanged personally. Do not worry, there will be no problem. The moment it is released, she will die. The person that annoying girl likes will also die. So there would not be any evidence left. I do not know who the other person is, but I sure feel bad for them. Then we see a castle. This is one of the 7 great evil dungeons, Chite Castle. We see Renee getting a haircut, and she says, I am sorry for suddenly showing up. I always owe you one each time I come. And the red-haired woman says, enough, it is natural for neighbors to help each other out, and seeing how cute you are makes me happy. This is the boss of this evil dungeon, Elizabeth Battery. As she keeps grooming Renee, she says, at times like this, I get jealous that you are a homunculus. To think this pretty face would not age. You look super young too. Your skin is also paler than mine. You do not even know how much blood I use every day just for beauty treatment. And Renee stands up asking, what do you think of me right now? And Elizabeth replies, of course, the most beautiful among all the women I have seen recently. I will assure you, no one would reject you right now. And then she asks, Renee, who did you want to look good for? Are you perhaps thinking of confessing to someone? Renee gets excited as she holds the gem in her hands, and says, yes, I am going to confess. Elizabeth gets shocked, saying, really? I said that as a joke. To whom are you confessing to? And Renee replies, to Mr. Devourer. Hearing that, Elizabeth says, you are saying an extreme joke like it is nothing. Is it because you are a homunculus? And Renee replies, it is not a joke. I am going to confess to him. Elizabeth says, what do you like about him? Is he not a bastard whose strengths are hard to even point out? And Renee replies, he has lots of strength and he is reliable. Elizabeth says, but he is so lazy, it counteracts that reliability. To which Renee replies, yes, he is lazy and quite big. He eats like a pig, sleeping every day and whenever he wants. He has no wits and has quite the appetite these days. Hearing that, Elizabeth says, you know all of that, but you still like that bastard. Renee replies, yes, I really like him. Elizabeth wishes her good luck, and tells her, if he rejects you, come to me. We see inside the Dungeon Raid Union headquarters. We see a man reporting to the leader, so we assume Warrior Vern's raid force has been annihilated. As we see many people sitting around a table, one of the men stands up yelling, there is no way. Did they not say they easily got through to the gatekeeper? No corpses have been found. So how can you be sure they have been annihilated? There is no way Sir Vern would have died to a monster. As everyone starts bickering with each other, the man who came to report says, you are all wrong. The Primordial Core is not that difficult or a big dungeon. The day you go in, they will all kill or get killed. But it has already been 2 days since we have heard from them in the dungeon. Vern is probably dead. We need to presume he is. Leader asks, if so, what happened to that family sword? The agent replies, as communication magic got cut off after they entered the heart of the Primordial Core without re-entering that area, it will be impossible to retrieve the 14th masterpiece, Tanabella. As they all start to think about if they should enter or not enter the dungeon again. Leader thinks to himself, we have already lost one of the 36 masterpieces, and a warrior that the royal family cherished. If you fail the second raid as well, we will truly get killed. If you just leave things be, the furious royal family will point their blades towards us. But what if Vern was not able to leave a severe injury to the ancient monster? What if the dungeon did not suffer for much damage from the raid force? What if even if we challenge it several times, and he says, it is impossible to attack the Primordial Core? And the room gets quiet. We see someone entering the area saying, "How intriguing, I wonder why you think that." "I think it is definitely possible." Leader asks, "Why is the Royal Magic Academic Society here?" And the guy who just entered says, "Do you not know whose orders our organization heeds? This is the third eye of the Royal Magic Academic Society." And he says, "The fact that we are here means that you will need to pay for the price of your sins," as he gets angry and says, "How foolish, not only did you play a part in killing a precious warrior, but you have also thrown away the masterpiece that the Emperor truly treasures into the enemy nest. Even so, if everyone here dies, who would handle the Empire's countless raid forces? So we made an offer with His Majesty, a solution to save you all. We will raid the Primordial Core again." Leader asks, "But how can we succeed in a place that even Sir Vern could not?" The third eye says, "Nifrim, we will send Nifrim." Leader says, "Wait, by Nifrim are you talking about the product with a lot of issues?" And the third replies, "Nifrim is not a failure but an undeniable success." And he asks, "Why do you think Sir Vern and his raid force did not make it out of the Primordial Core alive? Because they were weak or because they were sloppy?" No, definitely not. Sir Vern and his raid force were clearly missing a certain factor. Just one, something even Sir Vern could not have. Nifrim has that. We will definitely succeed in this raid. We see Mr. Devourer sneezing in his castle and saying, "I sense something ominous, as if a huge disaster will befall us." That kind of feeling, or am I getting a cold, as he sneezes so hard that his transformation wears out. We see the Devourer lying on the ground and thinking, "I do not want to do this, but in this situation, I do not know when the humans will invade again. If I put off the petrol any longer, Pedrick will scold me. For a bag of bones, he sure is scary." He stands up saying, "I do not want to be bothered anymore. The humans this time came from the area near Filth Road. Should I head over there?" He enters the room and sees defeated 16 black tentacles, and thinks, "I feel sorry for it, but there is not much I can do right now. Other than just wait." Then he goes to the next room and sees the defeated manager, Anthropopago, and thinks, "According to my memories, as long as it has a main body and nutrients, it will regenerate by itself, and as he finds that body is still alive, it will recover on its own without any need for my intervention." And he says, "The problem is the first 4 rooms that were destroyed. This is something I need to discuss with Pedrick. I have a feeling that I will be scolded again." As he yawns thinking, "Should I take a rest? I might have only checked Filth Road and Room 5, but I did pretty good. Pedrick will probably understand." As he starts to walk away, someone suddenly attacks him from behind, scaring him. We see someone coming from the cave saying, "Dirty human filth, as long as you have stepped foot in this place, do not even think about leaving." It was Renee, and she said, "I am sorry. I thought another puny human had invaded." Devourer said, "Well, it is fine. I only jumped a little." Putting that aside, "Renee, you dressed up?" And Renee replies, "You noticed, I am happy." He starts to panic and says, "There must be something special happening." Thinking to himself, "She took off the maid outfit. Is she trying to quit before Pedrick?" And Renee says, "Mr. Devourer, can you give Renee some of your time?" And he agrees to it. At this moment, only thought on his mind is anything but a letter of resignation. Renee invites him to her secret place and tells him to sit, as she starts preparing tea. As the Devourer is walking towards the spot, he is still panicking, thinking about the letter of resignation. Renee pours him a cup of tea saying, "Originally it was a place only I knew, but now Mr. Devourer knows as well. Also, it has already been 80 years since Mr. Devourer took Renee in, do you remember?" He says, "Of course." As he remembers, 80 years ago dungeon clearing gained popularity. Over 1,000 dungeons fell, and the number of humans who reached the Primordial Core also surpassed 1,000. It was during this time that Renee's status soared, earning her a nickname. And he says, "Yeah, you suffered a lot. Is your right eye feeling better?" And he thinks to himself, "Thank God it was not a letter of resignation." And Renee says, "I was glad. I could keep you safe." And he says, "No, wait, what do you mean, was glad? Are these not parting words?" As Renee calls his name and tells him, I like you, Mr. Devourer." For 80 years Renee has waited for this moment. And he replies, "Thanks for confessing to me, but our lives are always hanging by a thread. We never know when we will get hurt or die. It is not like we want either of us to live the remainder of our life in solitude, right?" Ren says, "As expected, it turned out like this. I knew it was a burdensome request, but I could not keep it inside any longer. But the thought of you rejecting Renee and walking away, that is too scary. She brings out the gem and says, Renee has always wanted to be loved by Mr. Devourer, no matter the cost. She kicks away the table, gets close to him saying, even if it means resorting to despicable measures, with this my wish is fulfilled. And as she puts the magic power inside the gem, Mr. Devourer starts turning into his beast form and says, Renee, just now, what you did to me, were you trying to kill me? Looking at the scene, she gets scared and drops the gem, breaking it and says, what is going on? We see something coming out from the inside of the broken gem. We see Pedrick saying, wow boss, you are the best, you did not stop at just driving the humans away, you even chased Renee away. I am so shocked, I cannot even shut my mouth. Your kicks really do not discriminate between friend and foe. Boss asks him, how can he fix something like this? And Pedrick replies, well, it is not entirely your fault. Of course, what you did to me was definitely your fault. Boss makes a funny face saying, I cannot quite recall anything. And Pedrick says, should I help you remember? We see Boss about to attack Renee. Pedrick rushes from behind telling the boss to calm down, but the boss is in too much rage that he cannot hear anything. Renee was so helpless, thinking of what she had done. Pedrick tries telling her to get away and leave this to him. But she was not in a state where words could get to her. Pedrick thinks she will just get in the way right now, so he strikes her with his sword, pushing her away, and is able to create a distance between her and the boss. But as the boss is in total berserk mode, he says, are you here to kill me too? Patrick asks the boss, you still do not remember anything. Boss is embarrassed and apologizes. And says, I should go find Renee. And Pedrick says, yes, you should. Do you not know how important Miss Renee is to our dungeon? From sourcing your food and managing the diet of other monsters to cleaning and repairing the dungeon, healing the monsters, and setting up traps. She also provides counseling and resolves every room's complaints, and converts the treasures, distributes income, and takes care of the ledger. Miss Renee practically runs this dungeon single-headedly. Her absence would be more crippling to the dungeon than you, boss. It is better to find her before it is too late, whether it means bowing, begging, groveling, or even kissing her feet. Just bring her back. Pedrick gives the boss a bracelet saying, this is Demura. It is a bracelet that helps with mana stabilization. You do not need to know anything else, just know that it is expensive. Your body suffers from strong mana backflow, so its effectiveness is uncertain. Even if the effect is minimal, it should at least prevent you from seizing up while polymorph. Hearing that, boss says, you being so prepared, it is kinda creepy, like you knew it was about to happen. Pedrick says, I have a request, please do not misuse it, it is not very sturdy. Boss wears the bracelet saying, I will figure it out as I use it. Then I will leave this place to you while I am gone. And Pedrick says, you need to return in 5 days, the humans will arrive soon. The boss replies, so I just have to come back before the raid force bastards arrive, right? Patrick says, if I cannot fend off the invaders in your absence, who knows what will happen if they reach that place. Boss gets ready to go out saying, I will bring back Renee in 5 days. And Patrick says, and if you pass by the human village, do not draw attention. Revealing that a dungeon monster is in a human village will bring no good. With a sinister smile, Boss replies, if it goes south, I will just destroy everything in return. We see Pedrick saying, that things are more complicated than expected, as he brings out a paper from his armor saying, Renee went somewhere and traded that love gem for a mana stone with a demon inside. Eventually the boss lost his mind and nearly killed her. Here is the prediction: if the boss finds out about this, he will go crazy and he might destroy everyone, but it is not yet time for humanity to fall. As he notices something on the paper, the dungeon raid is about to happen in 3 days. Realizing that he just told the boss to be back within 5 days, he starts freaking out. We see the boss laying on the ground thinking, this is already the second time I have been teleported to a bizarre place, as he remembers Pedrick saying, mana in your body moves chaotically, so you just do not use magic. The boss thinks, is it because of magic? Let me give it another shot, as he tries to use teleportation magic, thinking about the coordinates of the place where Renee went to sell the mana stone, Haston Village. And he teleports. Then we see a female demon saying, a mere human like you has risen all the way up here. I will do your monsters a favor and bestow upon them an honorable death. As someone replies, what a joke, a lowly demon like you acting all triumphant. This is elite raid force ranked 32 in the Empire. We will drag you down from the throne you do not deserve, and make a name for ourselves on this continent." Demon gets angry and stands up from her throne saying, "I am the 17th successor of the Demon King Asmodeus, Lymphagria." As she charges forward to attack saying, "Consider it an honor to know my name and meet your death." Demon and party leader start fighting. His party attacks with arrows but she easily deflects them. As one of the mages starts using his magic, Demon unleashes her energy waves making the human party members fall. He tries to block the attack by using the floor in front of him, making it like a wall, but he notices some ice shards around him, realizing she is already ready with a new magic spell. He throws the broken tile to attack the demon and rushes forward. Demon attacks him with the ice shard saying, "Are you asking for your death? What a fool." He blocks it with defensive shields. Looking at that, the demon thinks, "I am sure I got rid of the mage." She notices that the mage is still supporting him from behind and tries to attack those mages, but the party leader jumps in the way as their attack collides. Something falls from above and they both are pushed backward. As they both notice that something just appeared, the human raid force tried to get back up, but the party leader said, "By the way, who the hell is that? I did not hear about any other raid force being here," as they all are still guessing what is inside the dust cloud. The demon thinks, is there another raid force? If their forces are strong enough to break into the Demon King's fortress, the situation is not good. Who the hell is it? We see this is our boss saying, "You people, do you know where Hasten Village is?" We see everyone surprised, and they shout at him, "You are saying that bullshit," after appearing suddenly. Humans tell him to get away from the Demon King. As the boss takes a look at the demon girl, he thinks, she is so different from the olden demon kinds. Is it because of the generation gap? As the support forces arrive at the scene, they all start charging towards the demon girl, making the boss think, "This is so tiring, I need to find Renee. I do not think the conversation will work. If this takes any longer, I will be scolded by Pedrick. Just thinking about that is annoying." Some humans start telling the boss to move quickly, annoying him. So he turns around, revealing his true form, instilling fear in the humans witnessing. And he starts killing humans one by one, eventually wiping the whole room clean. Demon Girl is shocked at what she just saw, and tells boss that he might be stronger than her. She says, "I am very interested in you, I want to know you," and starts asking too many questions, which creeps out the boss. To recover from the embarrassment, she tried to introduce herself like a superstar. For the boss it gets more creepy, but he has to find information. So he tries to play along and starts introducing himself, but he stops thinking, "If I just reveal my identity, rumors will spread. Pedrick told me to be careful, there is no need to reveal my identity yet." So he makes a fake name, Devd Rowney. Lymph replies, "Can I address you comfortably as Sir Devd?" She thanked him for helping her, as she might have been defeated if it was not for our boss. Since she was indebted to the boss, she offered to help him. Boss asks her about the route to get to Hasten. Boss gets excited thinking, he might finally get some information as a gift of keeping her alive. But Lymph replies, "What is Hasten?" Boss realizes that, it is not that she does not know the way, she has never even heard of Hasten at all. Have I come so far, that she does not even know where Hasten is? So he asks her about the closest human village. Lymph replies, from what she knows, Redice is the closest city here. Hearing that boss thinks, the Empire's capital Redice, that place takes 2 months by human carriage from Hasten. He is freaking out for how far from the place he needs to be he is right now. Hearing that, Lymph says, "So you want to go somewhere far, then you could use the teleportation hub. It is a human invention made using magic and alchemy. It can forcefully initiate spatial transfer magic." Boss asks her, where can he find it? And she replies the teleportation hub is in Redice. As they reach Redice, boss confirms if it is the right place. And thinks, there is a small chance to find Renee here, but there is no guarantee she went to Hasten. I should gather more information. Lymph asks, "You said you were looking for a girl with silver hair, I will help you find her." Boss asks, "You are the owner of Demon Lord's castle, are you sure about leaving it alone?" Lymph replies, "There is no need to worry, I am a demon queen, a supreme body born to rule. The demonic castle is not important. The place where I stand is the territory of the demons, and those who stand next to me are my army." Boss asks, "Is it like the authority of a demon queen, being able to call upon demons if you want it, and she replies, "That is right, not that I have tried that before. But since it is work that my father has done in the past, I will be able to do it as well. Since the castle my father passed down to me is half collapsed, there is not much I can do. Let us stop the depressing talks here and gather some information." As they start walking, Boss thinks, this somehow feels like it has gotten more troublesome. We see them getting beers. Boss says, "We still have a long way to go, why are we here?" Lymph replies, "You must not know much about human villages. The bar is where all the information is gathered. Look around and open your ears, the many conversations you hear, those are unrefined gems of raw information. You just have to pick and choose what you need to hear." As he starts looking around, his eyes fall onto a board where people are gathered. Lymph says, "This is the collection of information I mentioned." Boss picks up a flyer saying, "That is the list of the members in the raid force. I heard it was used to stop confusion of multiple raid forces going into the same dungeon at once." And Lymph says this is because there would be issues with the rewards. If they all come together, chance of success would multiply, but they rush into the fire pit blinded by greed. Boss says, "Well, it is a good thing for us." Hearing that, Lymph gets suspicious and says, "It is strange, I am a demon queen, so it is understandable, but you are just a demon of a dungeon. How are you able to travel outside freely?" Boss replies, "It is a bit complicated to explain, can you just ignore it?" Boss finds a list of the raid force for my house. As Lymph gets a look at that list, she says, "It is a raid force list for the Primordial Core. It is the pinnacle of dungeons that even foolish humans recognize, and the goal of all demons. The being who rules over this dungeon is the Lord of all things, God's guardian who punishes those who tremble in fear, an ancient monster standing at the top of everything, Mr. Devourer." Hearing that, Boss thinks, is it not closer to a homeowner than a ruler, one that is harassed by bad tenants? Lymph says, "I like Primordial Core the most. I want to get stronger, so that I can have an audience with Mr. Devourer one day," not realizing that he is right in front of her. "I really want to be like him. My father was strong too. Unlike me, he was king befitting the throne. It is just that there was a human much stronger than him. Vern or whatever, that young hero. It is the same hero." Boss swallowed while yawning. Lymph says, "I do not want to spend my life running the dungeon like my father. I just want to become strong so that the demons are attracted to my strength." Hearing that reminds Boss of his past. "I was once like that. With overflowing enthusiasm I led a powerful army that could take over half the world. It was a time when I tried to learn all the knowledge of the world. Mixing in with the humans that I thought so lowly of, swept away my emotions, giving all I had for them. But when it came to an end, I found out that it was all pointless. That is why I made lazing around my life's goal." We see Lymph blacked out from all the alcohol. So he grabs her on the shoulder and takes her away. As they leave, a request for raid force has been listed there saying, "Raid time is scheduled within 72 hours from now." As Lymph wakes up in a bed, she does not remember what happened yesterday. Boss suddenly gets shocked and falls to the ground. As he sees Lymph has turned into a small girl, as he asks, "Why are you so tiny?" she starts punching Boss, and tells him that she has two forms. The older one was my second version, that humans do not look down upon, and this is my first form. Transformation magic usually projects the user's future form, so when I become older, I will transform into that amazing second version. She starts throwing tantrums, getting angry at everything like a kid. This is Count of Haston's residence. We see some people shouting outside, "We came all the way from Redice to raid the Primordial Core, open the gates and welcome us." Inside the castle, we see someone asking who sent this notice and learn it was sent under Third Eye's name. This is the Lord of Haston, Count Atark. He gets pissed and thinks, "How can they do this without my permission?" But this is the royal family's order and he cannot dismiss it. But he is skeptical if this raid be successful in subjugating the Primordial Core. They are too weak to target the Primordial Core. I have never even heard of their leader, Nifrim. If they mess things up, my region will have to face the consequences. He thinks, what if I send a stronger raid force there first? He thinks the Mage Tower's wing might be able to do it. They recently made great progress through high-quality goods of unknown origins. If the rumors are true, this issue can solved easily. The gatekeeper of the Primordial Core was defeated. We only have to take care of the Devourer, who personally fought against Warrior Vern. He asks to send in the request, with his name on the line. He offers a large sum of money and great honor. Someone breaks into the room asking, "Are you Count Atark?" "I am Nifrim, you were not opening the door, I apologize for entering like this." Count asks for his reason to come here without notice. Nifrim replies, "You must have been notified by the royal family," and with an intimidating look he says, "Is there a reason we should not have come here?" One of the girl from the group says, "What's with that look? Smile for me, and give me some sweats, tea, and chocolates." Count tells Secretary to go get some. Nifrim says, "We are here for the Primordial Core raid." Count replies, "It has been just a day since the letter arrived. You sure are quick to act. When are you going for the raid?" Nifrim replied, "We were going to leave immediately, but something came up, so we will probably go tomorrow." Count says, "Is it not a little too soon? You should recover your strength. I will provide lodging and hospitality." Nifrim replies, "No, we do not need that. We will stop by the Mage Tower and leave right away." Count asks for the reason of going to the Mage Tower. Nifrim says, "It is not for an urgent reason. We are just going there, to kill them all," as he smiles wickedly. "The security in your house is way too poor. It was way too easy to eavesdrop using magic. You were going to ask Mage Tower for help, right? We came all the way here for the raid. We cannot just give it up like that. We got to get rid of anyone or anything that gets in our way. It is a win-win for you. Whoever is stronger between us and them will take on the Primordial Core." Count says, "Pardon my slip of tongue, I will not hire anyone else, so advance on your raid anytime you want." And Nifrim agrees to that, saying, "I am overwhelmed by your grace, Count." We see Pedrick practicing with the new sword he got, and says, "It is almost time for their arrival."